Chapter number 1: Biosphere and Landscape. Our Earth is the third planet from the Sun and perhaps the only planet in the solar system that is known to harbor life. It has all the favorable conditions that support life on the Earth. Water is abundant on the Earth's surface, and therefore this unique feature distinguishes the Earth from all the other planets in the solar system. Because of this distinctive attribute, Earth is also known as Blue Planet. If we look into the history of the Earth, some geological evidences indicate that life may have begun as early as 4.1 billion years ago. It is believed that perhaps the explosion of life first appeared in the oceans. The appearance of life on the Earth brought about a complete change in the atmosphere of the Earth. There were several reasons that were attributed to the beginning of the life on the Earth. It is strongly supposed that the Earth's distance from the Sun, its physical properties and geological history might have allowed life to evolve and thrive here. Since then, biodiversity on the Earth has witnessed a long spell of expansion, as well as extinction of some of these species. Biosphere, meaning and importance. The word biosphere is derived from the Greek word biosphere. Bios means life and sphaira means sphere. Thus, biosphere is the layer of the planet Earth where life exists. All organisms, from the tiniest bacterium to the largest blue whale, are part of the biosphere. This layer ranges from a height of up to 10 kilometers above the sea level to the depths of the ocean, such as the Puerto Rico Trench, which is more than 8 kilometers deep. It is also known as the ecosphere and consists of the entire ecosystem of the world. When we talk about the biosphere, we are talking about a huge system that works together to support life on the Earth. Every part of the planet, from the polar region to the equator, features life of some kind. From the highest mountains to the deepest oceans, from the hottest deserts to the thickest jungles, there is life. Even the non-living things like soil, rocks, water and air are also part of the biosphere. The biosphere includes all living organisms and also dead organic matter. Different organisms can exist at different places in the biosphere. Biosphere has three components. They are lithosphere, which includes soil and rocks; hydrosphere, which includes water and its various forms; atmosphere, which includes all the gases and is made of several layers. Thus, the lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere and all the living organisms living in it are part of the biosphere. The biosphere constitutes the global ecosystem that includes all the life existing on the Earth and their interactions and relationships with the elements of the lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere. The study of the biosphere is the basis for ecology, the study of life and its interactions with the physical environment. Ecosystem, meaning and scope. An ecosystem includes all the living things like plants, animals and organisms in a given area. These living things interact with each other as well as with the non-living parts of the environment like weather, the earth, the sun, climate and atmosphere. Ecosystems can be small, such as the tide pools found near the rocky shores of many oceans, or very large, such as the Amazon rainforest in South America. Our ecosystem. An ecosystem can also be explained as any community of living and non-living things that establish a relationship by working together. The living things are called biotic, while the non-living things are called abiotic components. These biotic and abiotic components surround us from all sides and form the environment we live in. Ecosystems are the foundations of the biosphere and they determine the health of the entire system of the Earth. No more. Environment Day is celebrated on 5th June every year to spread awareness about the environment. When we talk about ecosystem, we also talk about ecological balance. It is a term used to describe a stable ecosystem where different species coexist with each other and with their environment. All the species that are part of the ecosystem are equally responsible to help keep the ecosystem well balanced. When animals, plants, and non-living components are in harmony, then there is nothing to disturb the balance. Any change caused by nature or human disturbance leads to disruption of the natural balance of an ecosystem. Several factors can lead to ecological imbalance like increasing population, deforestation, misuse of natural resources, etc. Besides these, there are various other human activities that contribute to the disruption of ecological balance. It is important to maintain the balance of nature, as mankind is an integral part of the natural world around him, and it cannot alienate itself from it and exist as a separate entity. Moreover, everything is interconnected and interrelated. So, if one thing is out of balance, it weakens the entire system and the life on the earth. Food chain. All living organisms need energy to stay alive. They derive the energy from the food they eat. For example, plants take energy from the sunlight in order to prepare their food. The process of preparing its own food with the help of air, water, and sunlight is known as photosynthesis. Other organisms get their energy from the food they eat. The feeding relationship between different living things in a particular environment or habitat is called the food chain. In order to move, grow, and survive, plants and animals feed on each other. Thus, a food chain describes how each living thing gets its food and who is eating whom. For example, if we talk about the food chain that exists in forests, we see that plants make their own food with the help of sunlight. Plants also depend on the nutrients present in the soil for their growth. Plants are eaten by herbivores like rabbits, deer, and giraffes. These herbivores are further consumed by carnivores like lions, tigers, and wolves. When the living things die, they decompose and become a part of nutrients present in the soil. These nutrients in turn help the plant to grow well. This is a simple food chain. In a food chain, there are producers and consumers. A food chain always starts with a producer, an organism that makes its own food. A green plant is usually a producer, as plants make their own food by the process of photosynthesis. A food chain ends with a consumer, an organism that eats plant or animals. The consumers are animals that can be herbivores or carnivores. Many food chains are found in a region and form a complex web called